side-by-side business is the only segment of the ATV industry that has not been negatively impacted by the recent worldwide economic recession. So as a result, it seems like there's new manufacturers getting into the side-by-side business almost daily. Well, wouldn't you know it, Taiwan's most resourceful and innovative ATV maker, Kymco, has jumped in with both feet with this new model, the UXV 500. When the offshore makers arrived in the ATV business, we were more than a bit skeptical about quality, performance, and value, and for good reason. Many current offshore ATVs are just not up to domestic and Japanese standards for quality. Last year, we brought you a full-on test of Kymco's first 500 4x4 IRS Sport Utility ATV, the MXU 500. And we shocked more than a few of you with our conclusion that Kymco not only knew what they were doing in the ATV business, but they were doing it well enough to scare a few of the current Big 7 ATV OEMs with their performance, execution, and value. Let's get something straight before we get too far into this test report. You're probably thinking the Kymco UXV 500 looks awfully familiar. Well, you're right. It is almost a mirror image of Yamaha's super popular Rhino 4x4 side-by-side. The fact that Kymco UXV looks way familiar shouldn't throw you off. The truth is, if we were going to copy a side-by-side platform, we would likely use the Rhino as our template. The dimensions of the vehicle are perfect for both work and trail use, and in particular, the ability to load the UXV into a full-size pickup. The familiarity isn't just on the surface either. The design of both the front and rear suspension is pretty much a Rhino knockoff. There's a full IRS with an anti-sway bar in the rear and double A-arms up front with rack and pinion steering. The UXV uses Kymco's proven 500cc double overhead cam 4-valve carb mill for motivation. At 35 horsepower, the UXV doesn't fly. However, its performance compares favorably to Yamaha's Rhino 450 and the new Polaris Ranger 400. What we don't approve of is a relatively high level of engine vibration through the chassis, into the cab, and controls. Kymco hasn't missed a single detail on the UXV when it comes to standard equipment. There's shiftable 4x4 with electric diff lock, comfy removable bucket seats, lap and shoulder belts, screen side restraints, a 2-inch hitch receiver, dumping box with locking gate, and more. The more with the UXV comes in the form of Kymco's enviable build quality. Honestly, you could mistake the UXV for a vehicle built by any of the big players in the side-by-side business. Fit and finish here is superb, and so is the paint quality and overall visual appeal. Kymco has been around a long time, cutting their teeth as vendors to some of Japan's largest and most well-known OEMs. And you know, we have to wonder if the Japanese aren't feeling a little nervous these days, having taught Kymco so much about quality manufacturing. Because honestly, we've been over the UXV front to back, and we can't find anything on this vehicle that isn't top quality. The biggest challenge for offshore ATV OEMs has not been building or copying good designs currently in the marketplace. It has been executing the important details like ride quality, control integration, and engine performance. Add in things we take for granted on other ATVs and side-by-sides like paint finish and transmission calibration, and it's easy to see why we've been pretty hard on most of the offshore ATVs we've tested. Frankly, just copying a great ATV or side-by-side doesn't get you a great vehicle. It's about knowing how to make the vehicle into a seamless, reliable, and solid-feeling power sport product. Of all the offshore ATV brands we've tested, no other manufacturer has impressed us as much as Kymco. As this is the first offshore side-by-side we've tested, we have to say we're impressed, and we think this is a solid and respectable first volley into the side-by-side business for Kymco. We also think this. We think that Kymco dealers this year are going to see a lot of traffic because at the MSRP they're after for the UXV 500, it's a great buy. There's one final issue with any side-by-side or ATV purchase, and it's important. Buyers need to research the availability of a quality dealer. This is where many of the offshore brands have suffered by comparison to the Big 7 ATV and side-by-side OEMs. You need to do your research and make sure the dealer you buy your new side-by-side from is solid and will be around to back up the warranty and provide service parts. This goes not only for offshore brands, but any ATV or side-by-side branded dealer. We're wondering, like you are, whether the Kymco UXV 500 can survive the most important test of all, that is the test of time. Unfortunately, we cannot answer that question right now. However, we think the inherent quality in the UXV 500 speaks well to its potential for longevity.